I'ma give them what they want. She gon' give me what I want. I'ma give them what they want. We gon' give them what they want. I'ma give them what they want. She gon' give me what I want. I'ma give them what they want. We gon' give them what they want.
So hello, welcome everybody to What They Want podcast. Got my main man over here, Sage Bottcher.
What's up, man? I'm glad to be here.
Glad to have you here, man.
Thank you.
Welcome. We finally got a space so we can do some episodes and do some real things with, and I'm really glad to have this, just this space, man, because you can do any type of session we want down here, and so it's like you want to play a couple songs, you want to talk about some life, you want to do whatever, we can do it,
For sure.
So I'm really glad to have the capabilities, and it was one of those first things when I had the ability to do it, I shot you a text. I was like, hey, Sage, guess what? And you're like, oh, yeah, man. And so that's the thing is, working with you, we just get excited together. Right. That's one thing I liked about when we first started rocking together a couple years ago. Is like that's what made me drawn to your style is, just your drive and your hunger for it. You know what I mean? With that little guitar you had and that, what were we doing? So when I first met you, you were using a karaoke machine,
a guitar, and a plug-in mic. And I had the one time that I remember is I had Christmas lights. And,
right, yes. Uh-huh.
And I was just trying to make the best concert you could ever have. And
right, it was a makeshift concert, and you're like, dude, come check it out. And then you had Jennifer's son on there singing and everything, a little 5-year-old. That was hella cool.
And then I had my stepsister, and one time I had my sister on there as well. And we hanged up a curtain, and we put lights, and I had a half bathroom, and we came out the half bathroom and pulled down the curtain, and we started the concert. And it was funny.
Yeah, so you were doing all sorts of cool stuff right in the beginning, and I was like, man, this kid's gonna be doing something. And then just, we started talking, and we exchanged numbers, and you just started asking me questions, and then from there, you just started saying, hey, what about this? What about that? How do we do this? How do we do this song? Let's start talking about, what the next steps are for you. And, that's what I'm really glad to see. Just coming full circle is now having you sit on the couch. Now we have some stuff to talk about.
Yeah.
You got a lot going on. So,
it's definitely come a long way from when you were on my podcast, the Two Guys podcast.
Yeah, the Two Guys. I forgot about that. Yeah. Uh-huh. That was the first time I saw your new studio in the basement.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was cool. So, let's get into a little bit about you. So,
sure.
Yeah, so we met a few years ago. What was it? 4 years ago, 4 or 5 years ago. Anyway, so you were into music then, and music was your passion, but you really decided that you really wanted to dive into it, and you really wanted to, see where you could take it. So you started making songs, and started working with me, and talking about timing, talking about riffs, talking about what does this sound like in songs and structures, and just pretty much the basics, right?
Right.
And so we got past all that stuff, and you started just creating songs and be like, hey, man, I got a new one. Hey, man, I got a new one. And just as you went, the skills that you acquired just evolved and grew. And I just started to notice that. And you would take my feedback, whether negative or positive, and you turned it into something cool. I don't understand. How do I do this or how do I do that? And so just your own drive to research and figure out how to do the things that you wanted to achieve, was like, man, this guy's really going to do something, so now that you've got, your account where you're making music, you got some songs, you got some stuff that you're doing collaborations with, which we'll talk on later, what else are you doing, besides just your own music?
Outside, gaming wise or
so
other
you got
activities.
your own music, you got your guitar here. We'll play a couple songs later on, but besides the actual you creating a song, what else are you involved with?
I have esports at school that I do, and right now I'm trying to get a job. That's a big part.
Okay.
But mostly I just like staying at home and sleeping or just chilling. If I'm being honest, that's what I like to do most of the time. But if I'm not doing anything else,
Right.
I just pick up that guitar. My life is completely on music and everything. And like if I'm going through a hard time, life's really down, like I just lost somebody, I pick up the guitar and I just start making music. That's my go-to. But if I'm not doing music, it's usually like video games or just being outside and chilling.
So your interest in music. How did that get you into the production aspect with the church and everything like that? Like, talk a little bit on that
Yeah.
story.
So, for the ones that don't know, I run sound at my church, Calvary Worship Center International.
How
Shout
big?
out.
How big a church is that?
It's not too big. We got about 20 people or so,
Okay.
I'd say. But it was just one Sunday. I always wanted to be on the praise team and sing songs, and that's when I started going more into music and just wanting to strive and get better and all that. And so I got on the praise team, and then Clarence, our piano guy.
I don't mean to interrupt, but the praise team, that's kind of like a choir.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's like,
It's like a worship
choir
choir thing. Okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
But Clarence, our music guy, he was like, if you know anybody that wants to run sound and all that, let me know. And I was right there next to my dad. We are finishing up practice, and I was like, me,
Hand up.
I want to run sound. And so I went over to him, and I was like, hey, I want to run sound. I want to do this thing. It's gonna be fun. And so, I didn't start that week, of course. I sang
Sure.
during church, and then next week I started helping them out and just learning the basics, like whether it's, hey, turn so and so up, or
Finding the balance between the
Yeah.
gain on the mic, and so you're not getting the reverb and the
right.
and the resonance and all that.
It
Sure.
was just a bunch of basic stuff at
Mhm.
first, and then I was like, our live stream needs to be better. We need like promo videos or something. We need to get out there.
So did you start making videos for them and
I have
getting all
worked
that
on
hooked up? Okay.
I have worked on a couple of them. It's just the matter of pushing them out and getting them.
And they were paying you, aren't they?
Yeah, I'm getting paid.
Yeah,
which
that's
is
awesome, dude.
Yeah, it's a nice little incentive to it.
Right,
So-
because you're helping out the church, which is a good deed. You're meeting people, and not only that, they're blessing you for your time. Like, hey, we
Right.
appreciate you.
Right.
So that's cool, man.
Yeah.
And so that's so you're locked in on Sundays with that, right?
Yes, sir.
And so if the church were to travel or do anything, do you go with them? Like, is there a traveling unit?
We're in the stages of getting a group of people together.
Like to carry the message type of thing?
Yeah, like a group of people to be able to run the sound and all that. So in the future, if the church was to go out and play their own music, they have an album called Safety.
Okay.
It's a pretty good one. I like it.
And this is the church band?
Yeah,
This is Clarence's
the
band?
church choir.
Okay,
the
so
church choir.
Clarence is the one that runs that.
He wasn't a part of the church at the time when it got
Okay.
done. I don't think. I could be wrong, but I lost my spot for a second.
Okay, but so if the
Yeah.
church were to travel, you're
Yeah.
setting up and
Yeah.
training new people to be able to run
I mean,
run all the gear while you're doing
Yeah.
something else.
like if the church needed me to go with them and run sound, somebody that they know longer
Right.
and that can do it, then we would have a team to do that at the church, and then I can go out or however.
So
it
you're not
goes.
stuck like, oh man, I need to be here because if I'm not here, then this won't happen. And
right,
and then the people that are watching from home that can't make it or whatever, then it becomes an issue.
right.
Got it. Okay. And so, with the knowledge that you had, just based, your general knowledge with music, and I mean, just the combination between the guitar and then you have, your interfaces to the computer. You had minimal stuff then, so it was kind of like a big learning experience for you, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was. Like I I remember I was in my grandma's basement, and I was I went out to your apartment at the time, and we worked up my first song, Buddies.
Okay.
And I remember how you had it to where we could both listen to the song and everything. And I got back to my grandma's house, and I was just sitting there, and I was like, how did he do that? How did he get it running like that? And so I shot you a text and said, hey, what'd you do? And you said, oh, you need an audio interface, and that's, you plug everything up to. And I'm like, okay. So I hop on Amazon, a classic move, just go on Amazon
Sure.
and find something. And I bought me a M-Track Duo audio interface, and I was so excited when I got it. It was late at night, and we were just coming home. I grabbed it off the table. I went downstairs, and I opened it up, and I was like, oh, this is cool. And I was super excited. And then, like, I went to Best Buy, bought microphones and everything. I was really wanting to do music. And just the whole learning experience was just on another level. Now I got my own little mixer, and
I've seen that. Yeah.
Yeah.
So you've what? So tell me about your studio in the basement that you have right now. Like,
Yeah.
what's your setup?
I have a PC and monitor, of
Okay.
course, and I have a mic that I'm using for church to mic our drums, and I transfer that back and forth. And I got the mixer.
Mm-hmm.
I got a little MPK mini,
Sure.
just to play the keys on.
Right.
And
Yeah, a little interface. Sure.
yeah, and I still got that M-Track Duo audio interface. And
You'll probably never get rid of that.
no, that is the first step to actually making all the music that on this journey. And I'll probably take a picture and put it in a frame or something. one
Right.
day.
Man, there was some equipment I had when I was younger. I wish I still had it today, just because of the way the technology has advanced. That stuff sounded so cool. Yeah, so I totally get it. So, like, what's your next step in as far as technology that you need to help create the sound that you want?
Good. That's a good question.
Is it a new guitar? I mean,
I do want to get a new guitar. I do.
when's the last time you changed the strings?
It's been a couple months, I'd say.
Okay.
I do need to change them out. I usually change them out when one of the strings break, and then I'm like, okay, it's time to change the strings.
Yeah, because I used to do that when I was playing a lot, and then I've realized, I was like, wow, once I change them when the strings break, they sound so much brighter and cleaner, especially on an electric. You can just hear the resonance in the amps. I was like, man, I need to set a routine or some sort of schedule.
Right.
And, because if you're playing it as much as you are, like every 3 or 4 months, maybe even more, you need a new $7, $9 set of strings.
Right.
Yeah, it makes a lot of difference. All right, so strings and things like that.
One thing I'm really working for right now
Mhm.
is kind of creating my own little sound booth. Not sound booth, but recording area. Like, I'm trying to, in my studio, build a little box in there that I can just go into and record my vocals and kind of get it sounding clean a little bit better.
One of the first studios I worked in, they had this closet that they made in the living room, and it couldn't have been more than 3 feet by 3 feet, and it was just barely enough for the microphone or for you to stand there and hold your lyrics, and that's it. And you're sweating in this booth because there's no air conditioning, and it's just insulated. And so I was like, man, like that, I could just see something like that in your basement. Like, that would just be so cool to have the ability to do that too, just a soundproof room.
Yeah.
Or if you just want to go in there and scream,
Right.
let out some anger, like, God dang it, mom.
Dang it, I got grounded again.
Right. I'm going to go in my room for a little bit and make some noise and howl and stuff. I'll be back.
Yeah.
I'll be back. So you're going to build a booth. Okay.
Yeah.
That's cool. Okay. So you're building a booth. You got the studio. You're working with the church. You said something to me the other day talking about collaboration. So you have a collaboration that you're working with a guy in Uganda?
Yeah. I call him Mr. Joshua.
Okay.
Yeah. I got on a Christian group, Christian music group, and at that time I really wanted to make more music, but not just by myself. I wanted to collaborate with different people from whether it was here all the way to California or something, like, just create music with somebody.
Sure.
And I mean, me and you, we've done a decent amount of collaborations. We got one in
and
the
we
works,
have barely scratched the tip, but I get what you're saying. Yeah, it's a
Right.
lot. Yeah, it's a lot more fun when you can, network with other people and, hey, what do you think about that? And here's what
Yeah.
I want to add and layers. So okay, so you got Mr. Joshua, and what is Mr. Joshua talking about?
He man, he took, like, he has me, like, basically creating everything. Right. So I was creating the beat. I changed that around like 3,000 times. And
Per what he wanted, or just because you're wanting it to sound better?
I wanted to sound better.
Okay.
Like, I was going for a really upbeat song, and then it just sounded super weird.
So the artist and you got in. It wasn't him like, oh, I want an extra bass hit
Right.
here and hi-hats need to change. Okay,
Yeah,
so it's
and-
you. I got it.
Yeah, and then, like, it was supposed to be piano. Then I
Mhm.
changed it to guitar. I sent it to him, and he was like, if you like it, then we're good. It is what it is. And he's like, I do want piano in it, though. He said that he wanted piano in it, so I have to add piano in there. And right now, he's not feeling the best.
Okay.
So he's a little under the weather. So I recorded my vocals, and, like, he wrote the lyrics.
For you?
Yeah, he just wrote the lyrics, and then I flipped them around.
Okay.
I took what he had as a base, and then turned it to, like, a final product, per se.
Sure.
I kind of just, like, a bounce back. So, like, if he was like, okay, so I wrote this, and then I'm like, okay, that's cool. Rewrite it, send it back to him. He's like, I like that, but what if we change this to this? That's kind of like my writing with him and everything, just a back and forth.
Okay, so it's still getting his topics and the information he wants across. You're just doing it in the artistic way
Yeah,
that fits your style.
just changing phrasing or whatever.
Sure.
Just
Right, because you got to make it fit. If it doesn't
Right.
fit, it doesn't fit. I mean, you can't rhyme elephant with toboggan. It doesn't always work. Stuff like that. So okay, so when this song's done, I mean, this is a pretty cool collaboration because it's intercontinental. So what, where is it gonna go? What's the next step after that? Do you think?
He really wants to push it out and release it once it's finished, and he said already that he wants to work on more collaborations and do more music. And so my plan is, I would personally like to get it on all streaming platforms and
Sure.
push it out. Like, tell churches about it, be like, hey, I'm doing this song with Mr. Joshua,
Mm-hmm.
and, like, just push it out there, because I feel like it could do something. Like, he's doing Christian music, and I'm a country artist, and like, my roots are Christian music. I remember first time I started doing music, and with that little karaoke machine, it was just writing Christian songs.
Just
And
faith-based
then-
all day.
Yeah, it was just completely faith-based. And then I was like, well, I'm living out here in the country, and I like the country and all that. I
Right.
listen to country music, and it's just kind of in the soul. And so I started writing country music. But I was like, I want to get back to Christian music and kind of write some of that as well. Not saying stop country music, but I'm
Right.
saying also create.
So you want to have
something.
overlapping themes.
Yeah.
Yeah, because there are lots of artists that will be faith based, but they'll not necessarily every song is about praise Jesus, bless our
Right.
Lord and Savior. They're not hymns, they're not church hymns or gospel songs or stuff like that.
Right.
Yeah, so I definitely dig that because it gives you more of a purpose and gives you more of a basis as an artist. Like, hey, like for me, I don't talk about a lot of the things that I used to do and a lot of negative stuff because that's not my life today. You know what I mean? And like the life today that you live is based around, the church and community and wanting that to grow and nurture. So it only makes sense that you would transmute that into music.
Yeah.
Right. And
Right.
so how did you find Mr. Joshua?
So, like when I want to start doing collaborations, I said, on the Facebook group, I was like, hey, I really want to do more collaborations. Anybody that wants to write music and all that, just let me know. And he commented on my post and said I would be interested and I'd like to write a song. And I was like, okay. And then I texted him. I said, hey, Mr. Joshua, I seen your comment on my post.
Sure, and you guys just started the
yeah.
conversation from there.
Yeah, I was like, I'd love to collaborate and do a
and now
song.
you have a song that's almost finished.
Yeah.
So you think that'll be finished by the end of the summer?
I don't
Maybe?
know. It might.
Okay. Okay, but that's not your focus right now. Okay, so you have that collaboration. You had one with the girl. What's her name? Jade.
Her name is Jazz.
Jazz. Yeah. Okay.
Shout out Jazz.
Yeah. Shout out to Jazz. I look forward to meeting you.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you got that going on. And yeah, I mean, what's your latest release that you're working on?
Yeah, I'm so glad you asked. I have a song called "Empty Truck Beds in Full Cans," and it's coming out July 26th.
Nice.
It's Friday, and I'm super excited about it. I can't wait. And I played this song at a couple shows that I've done. My school dance, and then the one that I put on at my town square, which you were
Right.
able to
That
be
was a
there.
fun event. That was
Yeah.
a fun event. Yeah.
I was pretty proud about how that turned out.
I think it turned out well. For those of you that
Yeah.
don't know, Sage put on an event and basically rented out Wellington Town Square and filled out all the paperwork and did everything. And I opened up with a couple songs for him, and then I moved over to the side and I made a painting on site, a live painting, and he played his set, and his dad got on the drums, and I got a lot of good feedback from that, didn't you?
Yeah. The only thing I heard was, the mic being a little bit distorted, but we had wind, so
There was so much wind.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
that was the only downside to it. But
Mhm.
I heard all good things.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, and that's the thing too is we were using those outdated cordless mics.
Yeah.
So we got corded with something a little bit better. Probably might have been, but that's the thing. Like with this podcast, it just gets better and better, and you find ways that you can improve.
Right.
With everything, and it'll be better next time. But that's what I liked about the event was that the feedback we got was all positive. The girls wanted the painting, or the other people wanted the painting, and they liked your music, and you had all these people in the audience. They're like, "Oh, play this song, play that song," and so just seeing the following that you've created, from yourself in the last few years is really cool.
Yeah.
So to have that, and then all of a sudden you're going to have this following in South America, and just trying to tap into all these different places. It's kind of unreal. I mean, when I was growing up, I remember you had to, really be focused on wanting to move around and get your sound out to specific places, whereas now you can get on DistroKid or TuneCore or United Masters and get it all over. It's just about marketing it.
Right.
Yeah.
And yeah, like the whole journey of starting it's always filled like it's what I was supposed to do. It's what I'm supposed to do.
So what do you
Like,
say to your mom when she's like, "Oh, I don't think that this is a career path for you," and stuff like that? Because I know she's saying that.
yeah, I'm always getting told by people, make sure you have a backup plan, and in case it doesn't work out. And and what I tell mom, I'm like, I'm in it for the long run. I'm I'm here to stay. And like country artist said that the people that don't succeed and don't make it big are the ones that fail, that
Don't
quit
have any
trying,
consistency,
that
right?
quit trying. And I mean, ever since I could, hear music, I was like, I want to do music. No, I want to race NASCAR. I want to be in the Air Force. But I always went back to music.
Right.
I don't think it's a coincidence. I think I'm always going back to it for a reason. And so I just say to mom, I think I meant to do it. And, I'm here to stay.
So with the music aspect, I know it's always cool to be the front man and have everybody screaming your name and be the lead singer for this crazy band, or Sage Bottcher just becomes the next Ed Sheeran. You know what I mean? Like that's cool. But do you think that if you had something as like a backup singer, or if you were the production man, or had a different avenue with a group, do you think that that would be fulfilling?
Yeah, I think it would be like, I want to do music, but I don't necessarily have to be big famous Sage Bottcher, name in shining lights, see him one night.
Right. So you could
Like,
ghost
just
write, you could do
right,
make
ghost
riffs for
writing,
people.
and like doing the whole production side. That I've found that to be amazing.
Oh, that's right. You
I
did tell
love
me
it.
you like making videos.
Yeah,
Uh-huh.
production, sound engineering. I I find it all amazing, and you got all those ghostwriters out there that are starting to become artists, and like, um, just a couple that I know, like Hardy and Ernest, if you know who those are. Um, they started out as just writers,
Mm-hmm.
and
Just getting paid 30, $40 a song or whatever.
yeah, and now they're being like the biggest names in country music. It seems like you scroll on TikTok or Instagram, and next video you see is oh, I saw Hardy in concert. Oh, I saw Ernest. I saw Morgan Wallen, or whatever. I mean,
And
I
they all
know.
started writing songs for these famous people.
Yeah,
Is that what happened?
yeah, not necessarily Morgan Wallen. He started out like on
Right.
The
Yeah.
Voice
Yeah.
and
Right.
everything, but
That's a one-off. But
yeah.
I get what you're saying. Okay. Like now that you're getting to the age where you're going to be able to start going to shows, I mean, what are some of the artists, like the few artists that you'd really want to connect with and really want to collaborate with? Because I know that you and I have talked about that once you're old enough, you and your dad and I will start going to country shows and stuff like that, and start trying to
Yeah.
connect. And now that I have this platform, and my partner, Snow and DJ Royal, we have connections with some people that will allow us, or allow you to be like, hey, I met the manager for Morgan Wallen, or hey, I met so and so that works with this guy, and I'm gonna try to, send him a song, or I'm gonna send him some lyrics, or whatever it is. Just putting yourself out there. So if what would be some of the few artists that you'd really, really want to work with?
If it's country, Hardy and Ernest. Those are my two favorite. But if it's not, I really gotta say, and it might be a little funny, but I do listen to Tate McRae, if you know her.
Tate McRae.
Yeah,
I do not.
she's pretty talented, and she's a pretty good singer. And I
Tape,
feel
like cassette tape?
Tate.
Tate.
Yeah.
Tate McRae. Okay.
And like I started listening to her music, like I found her from her song Greedy, and I just started listening to her music, and it's pretty good stuff. And Like, I mean, Post Malone would be a pretty cool collaboration.
Man,
I
he's
would
done a
like.
lot of different stuff.
He's going
you
to
know?
country now, and
Right.
that's pretty crazy.
I remember seeing when he first was coming out. I remember looking at the videos of him. Like you or me, just sitting in our room with the guitar, playing his songs, and I was like, wow, that's cool. And now he's playing the national anthem at the Super Bowl and stuff. It's like consistency will really get you there if you do it right.
Yeah.
But you need to have the consistency,
Right.
So that's why when you said, "Oh, I got in with the church and I got these collaborations going," it's not just you left to your own devices sitting in your basement like, "Okay, I need to make a song every 10 days," or "Oh, I need to make an album every 6 months," or whatever it is.
Right.
You just kind of go with whatever the art takes you. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So, what do you think that the next thing, you're making? So this was it empty truck beds and full cans?
Yeah.
Okay, so is that going to be a single or is it going to be on an album?
It's gonna be, it's gonna be on an album,
Okay.
and for the ones watching this, I haven't quite officially announced the album yet, so you get an early access or whatever. But yeah, it's gonna be on an album. It's called Rewind,
Okay.
and it's my favorite. It's my favorite project that I've done, and it really comes from the heart. There are a couple songs that are just mess around, but it really.
What do you mean? What do you mean when you say mess around?
Like, it's just a couple songs that were made for fun. Like, it was just a
Like when you were experimenting with the hip hop stuff?
yeah, kind of like that.
Okay.
Yeah,
Like let me just see what I can do with what I got.
yeah,
Branching out. Okay.
yeah. I put some folk drums in there
Really?
on one of my songs, and then I just put piano in there, and then mocked the piano, and just created up with this song called "Single Mind." It's interesting.
Single Mind, huh?
Yeah.
Okay, so it's how many songs on the album?
10.
Okay.
10 songs.
And when's that going to be released?
The plan is October 4th.
October 4th. Is there a significance about the day?
Not really.
Okay.
It's just
A couple months out so you can promote
yeah.
and do all the stuff. Okay. That makes sense. That makes sense. So you're getting people excited about it. So now that it's summertime, all the fans that you had that were in school, are they still messaging you and hitting you up for stuff like that? Like, hey, you got any new songs you're working on and things like that?
every once in a while I'll get a text
Mhm.
from friends saying, like, how's music going, and
Right.
you still making music and all that. Sometimes I'll mess with them and be like, yeah, I'm not doing music anymore, man. It wasn't meant to last. Like, come on.
But then they open up your Facebook and you're like, hey, I have a new single coming out.
Yeah. Like, or they'll text me and be like, seriously? Why are you quitting, dude? And I'm like, nah, it's a joke. I
I
ain't
see
quitting.
you some people in your corner that are actually just like, hey, like, why are you quitting, man?
Yeah.
Wow. Okay, so you have support like that from your peers. That's cool too. Because I know a lot of people, especially your age, get jealous. Like, why does he get to play at prom and why does he get to play and do all these things,
Right.
And that's one thing about you. I mean, like, you put yourself in those situations. I mean, like, just speak a little bit on how you got to play at your prom. I mean, not a lot of people do that.
Yeah. Yeah, playing at homecoming was
Or homecoming, yeah.
it was something else. I told this story to everybody the second time I got to play homecoming. The first time wasn't even supposed to happen. So I was living in my grandma's basement, and I was really like, I love music. I want to do music. And so homecoming was just right around the corner. And I was like, I'm not going to homecoming unless I sing a song. That's how determined I was at
Right.
music. I was like, man, and it was my first year at that school.
Okay.
It was my freshman year, and I knew nobody. And I was like,
So that
I
means
got
no
him.
girlfriend. You don't have a clique. So
No.
that's even more. That's even scarier to go out to a situation like that where you're just completely exposed.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That's a very vulnerable spot to be in. So I give you a lot of props for doing that.
Thanks. And I mean, it was just one night at the dinner table. I was like, cause Buddies was came out, or
Okay.
it was about to come out, and so I was like, I got music releasing. I'm a singer songwriter now. Like I'm not gonna go to homecoming unless I play a song. And so I was like, you know what, just for giggles, just for laughs, I emailed the principal. I was like, hey, would you mind if I played at homecoming? And he emailed me back and said, no, just make sure it's okay with the student council. And so I was like, wow, that just happened. And
So you
then
got the green light. So now you got to
Yeah.
go to the student council, and some of them your friends.
no, not really.
Also, that made it even more difficult.
Yeah. Student council is all the popular people. And so, that's a whole nother area. I've never been a popular guy, except, getting up in front of people and being like, this is my song.
Right.
What's
Notice me
up?
now for this.
Yeah. It was kind of a one hit wonder kind of situation. Or, that doesn't make sense a lot, but yeah, it was just a, 1 minute of fame. And,
So it was the beginning, first minute of fame for you.
yeah.
You mean? If we're gonna say, yeah, because there's gonna be more minutes than there's been more times after that. Because you played homecoming twice,
Right.
right?
Yeah.
And what else have you played at your school?
It's just been homecoming 3 times.
Oh, you've done three
which
times,
is
and it's all your own
Yeah.
music. You're not playing school music. You're not playing their theme songs or their
No.
marching songs or playing with the band.
it's all my own stuff, and I mean that takes a lot to get up there and sing your own stuff. So
Yeah, man, it's ballsy, bro. It takes some cojones to be able to do that. A lot of people, cannot. And a lot of people spend hundreds and hundreds, if not thousands of dollars to be able to speak in front of people and just get up and do whatever.
yeah, I was.
So I mean, what is your methodology to when you have to deal with something like that?
Well, first go through everything. Make sure I can play, and then
Right. So you
I've-
got your song list and
Right,
your song
song
lineup that
list.
you want. Right. You know those by the back of your hand.
Right, and I played the song that I was gonna play at homecoming like 1,000 times. If I wasn't doing anything else, I was playing that song. And so finally I got up there, or it was the day I went up there, and in that moment anxiety just hit you like an anvil. And so I was just a whole bunch of anxiety, and then everybody was like, when you gonna play? When you gonna play? And so,
Did you puke?
no.
Okay. All right.
I was shocked about it. I've never been one to puke, which is a surprising thing, actually.
You just like me, just get super anxious and sweat and just like, oh.
Yeah. And I got up there, and I started singing the song. I was like, hey, my name is Sage Bottcher, if you don't know. And this is my song that I wrote. And that first homecoming was the worst thing ever.
The show was?
Like, the song was good and everything. It's just my cable on the guitar went out.
Oh, no. So all of a sudden you're just kind of.
Yeah, I'm playing. It's coming in and out. And, I mean, it was bad.
That is rough. That is rough when you have equipment failures. Oh, man.
Yeah. But first time playing, and then after that, for like, it seems like it was the whole rest of the year, really. Everybody was like, you did so good. Hey, that's Sage. You played at homecoming.
Right.
What's up, Sage? And, then the second year, it died off. They're like, that happened last year. That's a last
Right.
year thing. And then I released Jesse in April.
Brett, is it still recording?
And
All right, good.
I
Okay, Jesse in April.
I released Jesse in April. And all these memories with my buddy, Aaron Maples. And shout out to him,
Aaron Maples. So is he going to be featured on more of your stuff coming out?
I would like to.
Because he was the one that you did that hip hop song with, right, in the beginning?
Yeah.
Okay. So I've heard him a little bit. Okay. Cool.
Yeah, I was like, hey, you want to play at Homecoming? And he was like, yeah, that would be cool. And so I got it cleared with them. And then like a week before or something, it was late at night, and he was like, or no, it was the night before, and he was like, dude, I don't think I can do this. I don't think I can do this. This is...
He sissied out. Oh my gosh.
He was like,
right at the end.
I don't know. I can't do it. You know they're going to laugh at us and everything, and they're just not going to like it. And then the day of, we're at Homecoming and at the show, and he shows up, and he's like, let's do this. Let's do it.
But the night before, he just told you, like, hey, I'm tapping out.
Yeah, and he said, I had one too many Red Bulls or Monster Energy drinks. It was that crash.
And so he was geetered, and then he wasn't.
Yeah.
Right. Okay.
And so then he showed up. He was like, let's do this. Let's go. And we got up there, and he just blew me away. I was like, wow, this is amazing. And then I played Jesse in April.
Right.
And it was a pretty cool moment. And then last year now, I played at Empty Truck Beds and Full Cans, the one that's about to come out. And then they were like, oh, you can play another song now. I was only supposed to play one song. I wasn't ready for a second song. So
you didn't have a 20-minute set or something that you were about to do. You just like, I get one song to shine, and that's it.
Yeah, so I was just fully focused on that one song.
Right.
Had that one memorized, nothing else. I mean, it's a school. I'm like, they say one song, it's one song.
Right, sure.
So they were like, one of the girls on student council, she said, okay, you can play a new song or another song. And I was like, okay. And I know I should have went for a cover song. I had one that I could have played and I would have done good. But I was like, they don't know it. It's old school country. Just play Jesse in April. So I go up there and I'm playing Jesse in April and I'm messing it up and everything. And then afterwards, everybody's like, Sage, you messed up your own song and everything.
But that's funny that they knew it well enough to tell you that you messed up your own song.
Yeah. I mean, that's a fan right there.
Yeah, that's cool as heck. So what are your, like your peer group, what's their favorite song? Like what is the most requested song that you play?
It's always Jesse in April.
Yeah.
It's always Jesse in April. But I think now, if I were to ask, it would be probably Take Me Home. That's becoming a new favorite of everybody's, I feel like. I've gotten
because it's got that earworm. You write those earworms. That's why I like messing with you. You write these little melodies that just, all of a sudden I find myself humming it to myself, and I'm like, dang.
Yeah.
Okay.
Take me home.
Right. You just write these little, just couple notes, melodies, or even that, Jesse was a rebel, April was a saint.
Yeah, they fell in love first time they crossed paths.
Right. Just you write stuff like that. Just kind of people just have, that you associate it with stuff. I mean, I just remember hearing all these girls shout out, "Oh, play this song, I'll play that song," and when you were getting them to
sing the first.
Yeah,
line.
right. When they were participating, to be able to get crowd participation as a new artist, it's not the easiest thing to do.
Right. I was like, hey, everybody that knows Jesse and April, will you sing the first line with me? Jesse was a rebel, April was a saint. And they fell in love first time they crossed paths. And so I started playing it, and then, soon before you know it, we're singing, Jesse was a rebel, April was a saint. They fell in love first time they crossed paths. And then carried on with the rest of the song. It was, to get crowd participation like that, that was a amazing moment.
Yeah.
I was.
It was cool to see. It was cool to see because I was painting, so I wasn't really watching, but out of the corner of my eye, I was, listening to what was going on and everything. And I was like, man, you got something going, because if you can get around this group of people and they start to absorb your sound, they're going to remember you. Especially if you get, as you stay consistent with it, they might be like, oh, I knew Sage when he was in high school playing the homecoming. He played my homecoming dance. Think about it. If you could say, oh, Post Malone played my homecoming before he, was a megastar.
Right. Cool.
Who knows where it could go? Who knows what direction it'll take you?
Right. And, yeah, it was, that whole show was just a good moment. I loved having my dad on the drums.
Yeah, that was cool. I wish we had more time to practice with him, so
Yeah.
it could have been a tighter set. So in the future, when we do that, we need to make sure that we have it locked in. I'd like a little bit more time with him too.
And like I only get to see my dad's on the weekend,
Mm-hmm.
or my dad on the weekend, and so just to be able to play my music with him and him to be willing to play my music was just such a good moment.
And he looked like he was having a blast.
Yeah.
Yeah, your dad's one heck of a drummer, man. I didn't expect it. I just thought he'd be able to beat, but no, he was full fills and the whole shebang. I was like, dang, I wish I would have gotten there an hour earlier to run through my set with him.
Yeah.
And be like, all right, I want to tighten this up, tighten that up, So I didn't know he had that capabilities.
Yeah.
But that's what I'm looking forward to with, this situation that I have now is, maybe get a drum set down here and start making, that full thing that I want, the full sound. Because that's really where it comes from is, just organically getting the djembe, getting the shaker, getting the guitar, getting, and just doing it.
Right.
Just doing it. All right, so you got the new album coming out in October, right? You got your single dropping on Friday. Where do you see yourself in 3 years? Are you going to be in music school, or are you going to be pursuing your own thing solo? What do you think?
Yeah, I plan on going to college and getting my teaching degree.
Teaching?
And, yeah.
Okay.
That's something really surprising, I feel like. But I feel like teaching music and how to run the soundboard, how to do all the production side for it. That's just something that I love. And to be able to pass that on to somebody else and them to be able to go out there and make something of themselves and be able to do it.
So you
that's
really
pretty
want to
cool.
so you really want to master the crafts, that way you can teach others to be able to be masterful.
Yeah.
That's a whole nother level than just being able to do it. Just to be able to teach it. Huh. Okay, so is that a way for you to find other people to collaborate with?
It could be, yeah. I would.
Have you thought about it like that? Like, hey, I might find a couple students or whatever.
I've really just thought about it as a just going and learning how to teach people. That's one thing I need to get good at. I need to be able to teach people.
Right. Well, and that comes with being, just being coached, having good teachers in your life, and actually, like learning how your management style affects others, and that just comes with time and just comes with mistakes. Dealing with my management background, I've made a lot of mistakes and I've done a lot of things right, but I've also had some good leaders that have taught me what to do and what not to do, So yeah, and that's the other thing too, is if you're patient like you are and continue to be, people will listen to you. You know, and especially since you're like, man, look, I started doing this when I was this age, and now your catalog when you become 21, 24, 27 is just going to be exponentially bigger because it's just going to keep on growing, right?
Right.
I mean, so do you have like a goal with the amount of music you want to put out, or what's your?
I just want to create.
You just want to create?
I just want to create music and, put together an album, release a couple songs, then the album, or just release a song every month or whatever.
Right.
As long as I'm making music, I'm getting out there and having a good time. I feel like that's where it's at.
Yep, that is where it's at. So, you've went to, what was that bar that you went to that they turned you down to play at?
Catfish Charlie's.
Okay.
Bar. Well, it was a restaurant.
So
With
what
a
you're
bar
doing
on
right
it,
now
so.
is you're developing your following,
Yeah.
right? So what's your strategy to gain new followers and get exposed a little bit more? I mean, besides doing things like this podcast, I mean, what else you got going on?
I'm trying to get out there and do shows, like I
Yeah.
said. And I'm trying to run sound for jazz and
And
just like
she's a phenomenal singer. From what you showed me, she's phenomenal. So that's good.
she definitely has a gift, and she's going places. She's going places, and just like doing stuff for other artists. I mean, that's my way of getting a little bit more exposure.
Right.
And I'm not really good with posting and everything.
Well, none of us feel like we are. I was just
Right.
talking to Snow about earlier. I mean, there's so much that to be required to do on social media to be successful. It's it's hard without a team or other people
Right.
because they want you to live your life on the internet, and I'm not about that. Not about that. But so working with Jazz and working with Clarence and all them, I know you're doing the production for them. But so once you have somebody trained up, are they going to let you open for them? I mean, is that the goal?
I have talked to Jazz about like if she needs an opener, if she wants to take a 15-minute break during her set, and
And get something to drink, use the
Yeah.
facilities, whatever.
but it still wants music going.
Right, instead of just putting the DJ on or
Yeah.
right, whatever she's
I was
playing.
like, I can do it, just let me know, and I'll give you footage of performing.
Sure.
And my dad told me I got a great stage presence, and I think you've said that as well.
Yeah, you do. You do. You're
And
engaging with the audience, and yeah.
I just get nervous at that
Mhm.
beginning, and then when I get up there, play that first song, then I'm like, okay, it's not that bad. I got
and
it.
then that's that real dope when you get done playing or doing something like that. That's that real high, that endorphins just flooding through your brain and your body. And you're like, yeah, that's the feeling. That's why a lot of people do it. So that's cool, man. You got a lot of stuff going on. A
Yeah.
lot of stuff going on. So you're about to go back to school. And what's that look like for your music career?
Well, we're trying to get a job and everything and do school. That's going to limit stuff back, of course. And
Do you set
So-
aside certain times to play? Like, oh, I'm going to play every Wednesday night and Saturday afternoons, or
I just play whenever. And like right before I go to bed, I see that guitar sitting across from me, and I'm like, well, and then I grab it and I start playing. So it's just whenever I feel like picking up the guitar and playing, which is every time. But
and so you're picking
as-
up your acoustic. It's not like you're plugging in and playing Rage Against the
Right.
Machine super loud through an amp
right.
at 120 watts and stuff. Yeah, I get it. That's cool. That's cool. So so your dad backs you. Your mom, I know that she's talked to me about you getting vocal lessons and stuff like that, which I think would be phenomenal. So, you got support. Man, I just really want to see you be successful. I think that you have all the tools and all the, everything at your fingertips to be able to do anything you want with it. So it's
Thank
really
you.
kind of like finding out if you want to go to music school. If you can get a scholarship, if you can do. I don't even know, man. I know that my cousin loves it. And he's got bands that he plays with now, and he's doing all this stuff. And every post that I see about him is like live music. Here I'm having this session. Hey, I'm in this doing this, and I'm doing that, and it's like that's what I see you doing. Hey, I met this guy who plays saxophone, so I'm gonna play my guitar, and he's gonna play his sax, and I'm gonna sing the song over it. Just little things like that out of nowhere.
Yeah.
Just kind of spur of the moment. Yeah, just creativity, man, and being around people. And that's the other thing too is finding your group of people that think and want to be like what you want to be like.
Yeah.
Because you're only as strong as your weakest person you're around. So if you're with people like, oh, that song sucks, and oh, your timing is off, and this and that, they're not doing anything to help you become more creative and help you expand on your process. Then what are they doing? What are you listening to these people for?
Right.
And what was it that you said? I remember one of the first comments that you got on one of the songs that we posted. It was like something like, "The song sounds better on mute," or something like that.
This fire on mute.
Yeah, this is fire, but on mute. And and it was funny, and you and I joked about it because it was funny, but you took it so well. I was like, man, he said, some comment is better than no comment. And I was like, yeah, you're actually getting traction, and so that
First hate comment. Hey.
right, first hater, like, man, he's doing something, and I wish I could,
Yeah.
And so that's the thing about all these haters that want to talk a bunch of shit. It's like, well, what are you doing? You can be on the internet all day saying your opinion, or you can get on a mic, pick up a guitar, and say your opinion into a song form. So yeah, for all you haters out there, fuck you. Fuck you.
Hey, you strive us to be who we are.
Yeah, that's true too. You got to get pushed to a certain level. So when you got that first, because that was really like the first thing. This was fire, but on mute. Like, what was your initial reaction?
I was like, what does that mean? And, like, if you know me, I like to say I have a little bit of a old soul every once in a while. Like, all these new, like, this is fire, this is gas, this is, or cap. I'm like, what the heck?
Yeah, no cap.
I mean,
Yeah, whatever that
that
really
just
means.
I mean, why can't you say this is good, or stop lying, or whatever? And so I was just like, what does this mean? And then a friend was like, I think this is what it means, and I was like, oh, first hate comment, let's go.
Right. So they listened to it and they said, hey, this is good, but it should be better on mute.
Yeah, I'm like, you're taking the time to out of your day to write this hate comment when you could just scroll.
Right.
I mean, that's
You're right. They took the time to actually write it.
yeah. It's like when somebody asks you a question, and you could just say, it's this, but instead you go and search it up and all this and do like a whole paragraph essay and then put it in. It's just a lot of work.
Oh yeah, it's like right. Like when
going
you and I
at it-
used to talk, when you'd say, yeah, like, what do you think of the song? And I'd say, it's cool. You'd be like, okay. Or it's like, oh, hey, I think this aspect is cool and I like this part, but this, and we could talk about it and actually have a discussion as opposed to like, okay, it's good. And it's like, just kind of placating and passing you off to
Right.
the next person. So I get it. That's how that's how you become better, is through criticism and critiques. And it does take some haters to get you to where you need to be, unfortunately. But it is what it is.
Yeah.
It is what it is. So, yeah, man, what else you got going on?
Well, right now I'm just working at school and everything.
Just working on school.
Yeah.
Okay, so you got so you got everything going on, man. You got everything going, so everything's in motion.
I just finished burning all the CDs on my.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, let's talk about that for a minute. Okay, so
Yeah.
you got a CD project going on because you have people that wanted
Yeah.
compact discs, right?
Yeah, I've been I've been told by a couple people that I should uh, like have a album on a CD. Jeez, and so with this next project in motion, I was like, why not have some CDs for it? And if they're a hit, you know, give them out to people.
Mm-hmm.
Like keep giving them out, and I could be at Walmart or something and be like, hey, do you like country music, or do you like alternative rock or whatever?
Sure.
And if they say yes, be like, well, I'm a just now starting music producer, singer, songwriter. Would you want an album of mine? It's called Rewind.
And you're talking about just giving it to them, not
Yeah,
even asking
just
for money.
like-
Wiggle the mouse.
I mean, just to get like a little traction as well.
Sure.
I mean, just any way to get out there.
And
is
like you
a
were
good
talking
way.
about, what were you saying? Looking forward to being able to roll the windows down and just blast it.
Yeah,
Going slow mo in the parking lot at the school or in the Walmart and just blasting your own music.
right.
There's nothing like that feeling, huh?
Right.
Nothing like that feeling. Well, that's cool, man. You got a lot going on. I look forward to bringing you back on here and hearing what what the next steps are in your journey, man. Because I do not know where you're gonna go from here. You could go lots of different directions, but I know that they're all gonna be cool.
Yeah.
And that's what I told your mom when last time I talked to her, and she was like, "Get him to do voice lessons." I'm like, "He'll do it when he's ready, but he's in the mode. You're in artist mode."
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that's right. So we got that, and that. Okay, I'm just trying to think of what we already covered. Okay, so for the fans out here that do not know you, right? This is Sage Bottcher. So if people want to find your music, where can they go to hear your songs, hear your albums?
Yeah. You can go on YouTube and SoundCloud. That's where you're gonna find most of my stuff. But now that I'm upgrading, getting better, going places now, you can find my stuff on Spotify and iTunes, everywhere. You can find my music, and I got 2 songs out on all streaming platforms right now. It's about to be 3, so yeah.
And then the album.
And then the album.
The album in October. So it's SageBottcher.
Yep.
Right, it'll be in the comments and in the title and everything. But just so everybody knows, Sage Bottcher. This is the man right here. So it's not music by Sage or anything like that. Just Sage Bottcher.
Just Sage Bottcher.
Okay,
And
that makes it easy.
On SoundCloud, I think it's also Sage Bottcher, but it might be music by Sage.
Okay.
But I'm pretty sure it's Sage Bottcher. And
Okay.
on TikTok, you can find me Sage Bottcher Music 2, Instagram Sage Bottcher, Facebook Sage Bottcher. I'm also on Snapchat. I mean, if you want to find me there or something. Yeah.
So if somebody wanted to reach out to you, there's numerous ways that they can get at you.
Numerous
Whether
ways.
it's Facebook or Instagram or whatever.
Yeah.
Great, man. That's excellent. Excellent. I'm
Yeah.
glad to hear it.
Yeah.
So I think we're going to close up this interview because I'd like you to play a song, man. What do you think about that?
I would love
Sound
to.
good?
Yeah.
All right, let's do it. Well, thanks for coming in, man.
right. Yeah.
Appreciate it. Appreciate it.
Yeah.
Sage Bottcher in the house.
I'ma give them what they want. She gon' give me what I want. I'ma give them what they want. We gon' give them what they want. I'ma give them what they want. She gon' give me what I want. I'ma give them what they want. We gon' give them what they want.